we launched a common thread right after the pandemic hit because the fashion industry and particularly Vogue and the CFDA have a history of really wanting to support small businesses and young creative talent when unfortunate incidents such as 9/11 or now this pandemic hit not only our businesses, but businesses all over the world. And we were lucky enough to have forged the CFDA Vogue Fashion Fund back in 2001 after September the 11th. So we just repurposed that particular initiative and immediately started to raise funds to support young designers and small businesses. Obviously, this was not, Sarah, a bailout. It was more the opportunity to give small grants to businesses and designers who really had no means of paying any of their bills or really wanted the opportunity to apply for a grant that could help them stay in business or help support their businesses at least until revenue started to come back in a meaningful way. And then at the same time, I was very fortunate to be able to talk to Christine Beauchamp, who's the president of Amazon Fashion, and suggest to her that this also might be an opportunity for Amazon Fashion and the CFDA Vogue common thread to join forces in creating a storefront on Amazon Fashion that would also help give much needed funds and support and visibility to 20 young American designers who were most in need.
And is it a sort of partnership that you think the fashion world, the luxury world, does reluctantly a little bit, even if it's the pandemic that's forced it? Does luxury kind of typically partner with Amazon, which is a bit more mass market, I guess?
Well, I think that this was an incredible opportunity to help young designers who were really struggling. As I was listening to the guest that you had on just before me talking about small businesses, it's absolutely the same in our world. I mean, it's the small businesses, whether you call them luxury or accessible or whatever it may be, that are simply struggling because they have no sources of revenue coming in. So when Christine was gracious enough to understand this need, and not only did they support us, they made a very, very generous donation to a common thread. So this was an opportunity for the industry to help these people and make them understand that there is indeed a future for young creative talent and that they aren't going to have to close up shop. So this was really to support creativity in fashion in this country. And I think that Amazon Fashion, particularly Christine as well as Jeff, should be applauded for seeing that real necessity.
How do you think about, Anna, the long-term impact of what we are going through? I mean, you mentioned some of the small businesses and the fashion designers getting hurt. What do you think sticks as far as what comes out of the crisis and how consumers change what they buy?
Well, I think it's been catastrophic, frankly, on many levels for not only young small businesses, young designers, but of course for department stores. You've read about some of the companies that are being forced into bankruptcy. So I think it's really giving the industry a pause. I think everybody is rethinking what the fashion industry stands for, what it means, what it should be. I think our customers, our readers, our audiences are going to want to be aligned and want to buy brands, designers that they feel are in step with their own values. I think they're going to care deeply about sustainability. They're going to care deeply about what a designer or a brand might mean. I think they're going to care about the value of what they're buying, whatever the price point. And I think it's an opportunity for everybody to slow down, produce less, and really make the world over fall in love with the creativity and the passion of fashion, and maybe have a little bit of less of an emphasis on things moving so quickly and an emphasis always on what's new. I think fashion should last. It should be emotional. It should have memories. It should be meaningful. And I think that we need to really reevaluate, all of us that work in this industry, how we can best present that.
With everyone staying at home during lockdown, Anna, I think there's been a trend to shift to wearing whatever is most comfortable as opposed to what is most fashionable. Do you fear that that might have a lasting impact?
I think that when we start to reemerge, and we've seen this already in some of the countries that are slowly starting to open up, it seems like everybody's first stop is to the hairdresser. And then they are starting to go shopping again. And I think, yes, certainly there are going to be a lot more people working remotely. And that probably means more of an emphasis on comfortable clothes. But I also think there's going to be a huge desire to dress up and to have fun and to go out and to look your best. So I don't believe that only comfortable clothes are going to be all that we see on the horizon. I think there's going to be a great demand and a great yearning for beautiful clothes and creativity and self-expression. So I think what we in the industry have to look at is, how we present that best to the consumer. And I think that we have been guilty, all of us, of maybe pushing out too much too quickly and not allowing him or her to really enjoy it and value it and understand what it means.
Anna, what has it meant for the magazine industry and for Vogue and Condé Nast? We've seen the pain that the newspapers are facing and the fact that advertisers are pulling back right now in this recession. How's your industry dealing with it?
Obviously, we've had to pivot and we've had to learn how to work in a very different way and learn how to connect and communicate remotely and how we can manage our shoots in a very different way. Obviously, we've all been working a lot with self-generated content, but I actually think we created these Vogue global conversations over the past few months that we're continuing, and it's been a great opportunity for all of the Vogues globally. We have 27 editions all over the world to talk with designers and CEOs and retailers about what our industry should be going forward, and indeed what the future of fashion media should be. And I think it is really a time for reflection and thinking differently and understanding that the old way simply isn't going to work as we reemerge. But I think what's been incredibly encouraging is how strong all our content numbers across all of our titles have been at Condé Nast during the pandemic, is that we have had such high engagement, such loyal engagement, I think 30, 40, 50% up in some cases. So the audiences are out there. It's just how we work with them and how we stay engaged with them as we reemerge.
Mm-hmm. Finally, you had to cancel the Met Gala, obviously, because of the pandemic. We saw a lot of celebrities Instagramming about that. Can you do a Met Gala next year if there's no vaccine?
Well, I think that is a question that is impossible to answer. And obviously that will be entirely up to the museum's discretion and the guidelines that we are set by the city. I mean, we have to obviously respect and put everybody's safety first. But as I'm learning to live in a totally virtual world, I hope not. But if come 2021 we cannot have a physical event, we'll just have to figure it out virtually.
Partner with Uber Eats and do it
everything
at home.
else.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you.
Of course, a pleasure. Thank you.